Dear students, a very good morning to all of you. Today we move into another lesson. The title of the lesson is Geography Lesson. From page number 140. This beautiful poem is written by Zulfikar Ghose. He was born in Sialkot in India. Now this particular place is in Pakistan. On March 13th, 1935. He was a novelist, a poet, and an essayist. After the partition of India, Ghose and his family emigrated to England, where he completed his education and took up the teaching profession. So, in England, he became a teacher, and later he went to America, and since then has lived in Texas. Then he moved to America, and the family was settled in Texas in America. Okay, now straight away we move on to the lesson. Please take page number 140. Okay, now we move on to the first three lines of the poem. When the jet sprang into the sky, it was clear why the city had developed the way it had. I don't know, any of you have traveled in aeroplane. So when you get a chance, as you get into the aeroplane, as it get lifted, as it goes up, you will see the objects or the buildings, trees, hills, everything becomes smaller because the aeroplane goes up. So it is a matter of physics, isn't it? As the aeroplane goes up, all the objects will look smaller and smaller. So you will have an aerial view of the city. Okay. So the poet is explaining or building up his argument with this kind of a view. Okay, so he is seeing everything from a jet, an aeroplane, which is above the earth. When the jet sprang into the sky, so when the aeroplane got lifted from the earth to the sky, it was clear why the city had developed the way it had. So now we will get an idea why the city is being built up in a certain way. Okay, so as you go up, you will get an answer to your question why the cities are planned in such a way. Seeing it scaled 6 inches to the mile, there seemed an inevitability about what on ground had looked haphazard, unplanned, and without style. When the aeroplane sprang into the sky, when the author saw that 6 inches in the earth were actually 1 mile. So as you go up, you will see the cities, the roads, everything very small in size. So 6 inches may be like 1 mile. So the plane was so high. Okay. Now, what did he see when he got lifted? The city was really unplanned. So it looked haphazard. Haphazard means not having an obvious order or plan. So he came to realize that the cities were not well planned. Okay, the cities were not in a style without proper planning. So he came to realize that when he had this aerial view of the city. So when he lived in the city, he never came to know that the city was haphazard or unplanned. But when he got up and when he had an aerial view of the city, he came to realize that the cities were really haphazard and it was really unplanned and it was without any style. Now let us see a few aerial view of some of the cities. When the jet reached 10,000 feet, it was clear why the country had cities where rivers ran, and why the valleys were populated. So, as he got lifted to a 10,000 feet, so again the jet is slowly getting upward. Okay, now the earth is becoming smaller and smaller. Okay, now when the jet reached 10,000 feet above, it was clear. So what could he realize? He could realize from 10,000 feet above that almost all the cities were near the rivers, and the cities were thickly populated. Do you know what is the reason? When you learned sociology, you must have learned about the civilizations, in which almost all the civilizations got emerged near the rivers because they need water. Without water, human beings can't exist. Cattle, sheep, whatever be, it cannot exist. So people were on search for water and valleys. Okay, they settled down there and the cities sprang up there itself. Okay, now he came to realize. So when he got lifted to 10,000 feet above the earth, he came to realize that all the cities and people flocked together, they lived together on the river banks. Okay, the logic of geography that land and water attracted man was clearly delineated when the jet reached 10,000 feet. Okay, so the logic of geography that, so what is the logic of geography? The land and water attracted men. So just we just explained that thing. Water and land or valleys attracted men. Why? And that logic now he came to realize. Okay, it was clearly delineated. Delineated means described. So it was very clear when the jet reached 10,000 feet. Okay, now he is slowly understanding what is the reason why people settle near rivers and why cities emerge on the banks of rivers, and the logic of geography. When the jet rose 6 miles high, it was clear that the earth was round and that it had more sea than land. Now again slowly the jet is getting lifted up still higher. Then he came to realize another thing, another reality. Okay, first he saw cities, then he saw that all the settlements were near the rivers. Now the third point, now again when it got lifted, he came to realize that the planet earth was round and it had more sea. So on planet earth the sea is more than land. So that he came to realize when the aeroplane got lifted to 6 miles high. But it was difficult to understand that the man on earth found causes to hate each other, to build walls across cities, and to kill. From the height, it was not clear why. So he came to realize many things about geography, about settlement, about the haphazardness of the cities. Everything he came to realize. Many things he learned from the aeroplane when it got lifted up, and when he traveled in the aeroplane, he came to realize many things. But he could not understand one thing. That is going to be the message, the entire message of the poem. So what he could not realize, that is being explained in the last 5 lines. But it was difficult to understand. I could not understand. It was very difficult to digest for me that man on earth found causes to hate each other. So even when the aeroplane got lifted to such a height, he could not even find a little human being, even to the size of an ant. Human being seems to be very insignificant on this planet, and he could not find an answer to the question that why human beings hate each other, why they build walls around across the cities, and why people do kill each other. So answer to these questions were not got. He could not find an answer to such questions. From the height, it was not clear why people hate, why people build walls, why people engage in wars, why people are very much greedy. So all these things he could not understand, and we also don't understand why people do all these things.